Hi, it's Scott Fox from ExpertWebsiteReviews.com and the friendly online forum at ClickMillionaires.com. Today we're going to do an expert website review of this, the Aromahead.com website. This is the School of Essential Oil Studies from my friend and client Andrea Bucci. So Andrea, let's talk about your website and what you can do. I gather that you're going to be redesigning the site soon, and following a private coaching call we recently had, you're looking at upgrading the site to hopefully make some more money in sales. The number one goal that you suggested for your site visitors was that they register for a class, and that makes sense. You're running an institute here that teaches people how to be aromatherapists. So let's talk about what we can do to help your site make more money from, as you said, online and in-person education. Aromatherapy certification and aromatherapy in general are your targeted keywords that you completed in the form when you filled this out at expertwebsitereviews.com. Okay, so this is a very nice looking site. That doesn't surprise me because I know when we spoke you told me about your business, and it's a very successful operation, and the site reflects that. You've spent some money on this and it looks really nice. At first blush, I have to be honest, I came in and I said, wow, this is a great site. You know, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pick on this very much, but you're paying me to pick on it, so I looked at it a little closer and I did find some suggestions, some of which I actually think are fairly significant that I think could help you increase your sales of aromatherapy and certification courses. So, Aromahead Institute. Now the color scheme, very nice, very tasteful. You've got some nice graphics. The whole thing hangs together really nicely. So obviously you've got some good designers, and I'd suggest that congratulations to them. I think they did a fine job in general in terms of the look and feel. But could it use some updating? Yeah. Are there some things we could change to help you get the products more front and center so that people are more likely to sign up for the courses? Yeah, I think there are. And let's talk about those. So the homepage here, my first question is sort of really about the priority. I'd like you to, when you think about your redesign, to think about, say, 3 goals. And all your pages should reflect those 3 goals in a hierarchy of importance to you. So in applying that to this first page, I would think about what's your number 1 goal, what's your second goal, what's your third goal. So the number 1 goal, the one you suggested when you filled out the form at expertwebsitereviews.com, was to get them to register for a class. And that's kind of what I expected as well. You can also see some other goals, and you can tell me which of these are most important, of course. But I think the first one there is to register for a class. Others would be you have these scholars program and other slides here that seem to overlap a bit with the popular courses down here, so that's a little repetitive. I'd also suggest quickly, these days, these sort of slides, they tend to automatically advance. I don't think anybody's really going to come in here and click on this to manually move this like I'm doing. It's nice and it works well, but I don't think that's really very effective anymore. These would normally just scroll every 10 seconds or something on an auto rotation, okay? So first goal, courses. Second goal, I guess these sort of advanced and more specific things. Another goal, I think, here is this one. Sorry, not that one, this one, the monthly newsletter. This needs to be a lot more prominent. We'll talk about that in a second. And then, of course, you want to serve your current students and your alumni. We talked about the alumni. I think that's an interesting opportunity for you to communicate more with your alumni. So if you agree with that hierarchy or something like it, you can do your own version. I would redesign all your pages to reflect that. To wit, to be more specific, on this home page, I would think more like a store. You need to merchandise your most popular classes in a way that is very upfront, that is more graphically driven with big clickable buttons that can get people into a purchase process. Now, obviously, you're doing aromatherapy. This is very holistic and you want to be friendly, so I'm not saying over-the-top commercial, in-your-face sell page, but some simple rearrangement of your priorities I think would help merchandise this stuff better and actually even help the visitors find what they want more quickly. So I'm going to assume for a moment that you're selling courses and your number 1 priority is, for example, these popular courses. After all, you said they're popular and you told me you're selling courses, so I'm thinking that these are probably your primary products. And you've only got 5 here, so I think there are others deeper in the site when I looked around. The first thing I would do is swap this box for this box. And I would take these and put them up on top. And I would put them with big icons each, just like their products. And you have some of the graphic sort of approach here inside. For example, look, if we go in here, I looked around. here, this is merchandised a little more nicely here. No, actually, sorry, this isn't the one. I want you to, where was I? Hang on a second. There, this is the one. So if you look at this, here you've got a pretty graphic and you've got a description. I would suggest that you do a mini version of this on the home page for each of your top products. And products in this case means courses, right? So I'd like to see, for example, 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here. And by the way, I think this could be wider. You can see I'm recording here at a 1024 width, but many sites are wider these days, and I think you could easily take this out to 1280, which is a standard width now, and get another course in there a little bit to squeeze it in. Now, if you did that, I'd say that you're replacing this slideshow. There's still maybe a place for a slideshow, but I'd take this section and put it down below, assuming that these are your most important products. If these are your most important products, then you could do the same thing up here. But I would take them out of the slides and put them as boxes right next to each other. 3 or 4 or 5 big, clickable, pretty pictures that say, for example, Aromatherapy Certification Program. Boom. That's right. Oh, I'm a visitor. I'm new. Where do I go? Oh, that's what I want. Click. And you go right in to the engagement with that product. And you could head, by doing that, into this page, for example, which is more detail on that particular product. I would use a consistent icon or stock photo on the first page or the home page, and then repeat that here so that the person realizes there's a visual connection between the front page and then where they dived in deeper. For example, more like you have on this one where you use this pretty rose here, whether you use that rose or something else, but that sort of same signifier. You've got a larger version here. I'd use a smaller version of this on the home page right here, so that there's a visual connection between those two pages. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So 4 or 5 big blocks across the top. That's where I would start, and those should be your most important products in terms of your hierarchy: first, second, third, fourth. Okay, so that's first. I'd like to see at least as big a space as this, and probably this whole box taken up with that primary objective of getting people to dig into those courses. That's what you're really after, okay? Then second, if these slides here are your second goal, like the advanced program and so forth, those could sit down here a little better. That's fine. And labeling things popular courses is always a good idea. People like that sort of, they call that social proof. It's like, oh, other people think it's popular. It must be good. So that's cool. But I would swap these two and make these more visual. And I'm going to show you some examples of what I mean in a moment. As a third priority, I think that the monthly newsletter is huge. I wouldn't restrict yourself to monthly, although you can if you want. This box, this may be second or even first on the page in terms of your priority, because if you can get those email addresses, you can continue to reach out to people and remind them that they should be taking your courses. So I would make this a lot more interesting. This plain text approach here, not making you any friends, really. You're probably not getting a lot of signups for this. You've given a good space on the page, but I think here, and frankly across the site, you've used some nice stock photos. I think you should do some more custom graphics that use words. So popular courses, or each of these courses: Aromatherapy Certification Program, Body Butters and Lip Balms. Each of these topics could have its own graphic, not just an icon like of the rose I said a minute ago, but a cool logo really for each course that creates some iconography that you can spread across the site. The only real graphic treatment you have on the site is your logo up here, which is nice, but I think you could make these things pop a lot more by spending a little money on graphics for each major product line, and also for things like this: get our monthly newsletter. Like I said, I don't necessarily like that language, but turning those words into a graphic that was attractive and eye-catching with maybe an arrow that says sign up here, you know, that kind of thing. You'll see that on other websites. And this box that you've got here is really important. So I would think that this needs to be up here, for example, or maybe even as important here, right next to the 3 or 4 or 5 products that you're going to put across the top. I'd put the email here. This is far more important than this. That's what I'm saying, okay? This newsletter is your key to your long-term growth of your business, as I think we've talked about. You've got to get more emails. So to do that, I would make a cool graphic, like I said. I'd also offer them some sort of incentive. You know, not just get our, there's no real reason why would I want to get your monthly newsletter? You haven't sold me at all here. So I would say get 10% off a course, or a free list of Andrea's top 10 aromatherapy tips, or you know, great ways you can make money as an aromatherapist, something that meets the need that they are looking to solve by visiting here, and also helps you promote the business. There can be a 1-2 punch there, and the newsletter is a really big deal. So I would, like I said, put that up here or up here. You had a pop-up on some of the other pages I looked at. I think that's fine too, as long as it's gentle. And together, that's how I would reorganize the page. Most popular products, which I think are courses here. Second set of courses or products here. Newsletter here or here. And then I would clean out a lot of this other stuff. Like Get Connected is nice, but that's not making you any money right away. I understand. I believe I wrote a whole book about social media marketing. I understand the importance of those things. Although I'm not sure Flickr is the one that I would pick as top priority, to be honest. So this I would put down or smaller. This block here is really poorly used. You've got a bunch of white space. These sort of things are okay. I mean, you have a nice blog, and the FAQ is very good, by the way, and the About Us is fine. But this stuff isn't priority. You need to use this section, like the most common reading pattern. When somebody visits a website, they make an F. That's the eye tracking studies show. They come in, they read across the top, just like this, and then they read down, and then they read across again. So you are not doing any sales here, or hardly here. You don't have really very many calls to action here at all. And that's the fundamental strategy point that I realized as I looked at the site a little more. The site is very pretty, and it is really pretty. I like it. But it's more like an institute site, like a nonprofit, like saying, hey, we've got some cool stuff. If you want to check it out, go ahead. If you want to make money with this thing, and I know you don't want to be overly commercial, but you need some calls to action. Not just, hey, here's a course about aromatherapy for massage therapists online. How about a button? At least learn more, and ideally sign up, even buy now. That's what a real merchandising site would have there. And of course, you've got to pick your level of comfort. But there's no reason not to have at least a gentle call to action all over this place. Like if I come here, there's nothing here that says do anything. You're not asking me to do anything. Someone's gone to some trouble to find this site. They're interested in aromatherapy already. You want to be set up to answer the questions that they had when they went to Google to find you. What is it that they want to know about aromatherapy? What they're looking for a course? If you know that they're already looking for a course, what do you want to give them? Well, like we talked about, you want to give them courses 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And hey, sign up for the newsletter to learn more for free and get this incentive as well. You got to be ready to answer those questions and then call to action. Sign up for this newsletter. Learn more about this course. Register now. Class is forming now. Get the details. Call to action. Okay, I've made that point, I guess. All right, but calls to action are what's missing here. This is a little too, a little too academic. It's kind of a brochure. Like, hi, we're Harvard, and we'd like you to check out our campus. You already know who we are, so if you sign up, that's great. That's not the approach I think you want. I think you're asking me for advice, and my advice is calls to action. Come in here, get this, get it now. Okay, so then this other box, become a student. This is the one little place you have a real call to action, and it's pretty gentle. Ready to learn more? Ready to learn more about aromatherapy? That's like a 9-point font there. That's the story you want to be telling. Current students are great. You want to serve them, but I think this is redundant with the login you have up here. You've got this big green tab. I don't think you need it twice. Alumni, I think that's a real resource for you, but if you're putting together sort of a menu bar up here, I think that could be up there. Or down in the bottom. You've got lots of helpful links down here at the bottom. Alumni could certainly be down there. Maybe worth a graphic button of its own, depending on how much you're leveraging your alumni network. Okay. Let's see. What else do I want to say? I like this your picture here. That's great. I think that you need more pictures of people throughout the site. And testimonials. This is nice too. Like these pictures, these are all really nice, but they're really tiny. They look really cool and relevant. They look like they're all sourced from Flickr somehow. You've got a stream, but I would rather see you have 3 or 4 solid pictures that you own, that you can use, and really show some people here doing this, being happy, than a stream of a whole bunch of little stuff here that this is kind of useless, to be honest. I mean, what are you expecting people to do with this, right? I'm going to click in here, and then what am I going to do? Okay, right? Again, no call to action. Very pretty, nicely executed, but no call to action. Oh, and I forgot, there's a big one here, back on the calls to action. Here you've got learn more. That's good. That's good. But if these are your most popular courses, you may not even be aware of this. I can't even get to this class unless I click this tiny little link online. At the minimum, this whole thing should be linked. And you should have a button like this one. Learn more on each of these. Something. Learn more, buy more, sign up now. But you at least have got to link these words. It's honestly hard to do this. I had to go in and go, where? Oh, where? Oh, here. Okay, online. That's your link? You can do better than that. That's an easy fix, right? Okay. All right, let's see. And that popped us out to another page, by the way. I think you need to be a little more consistent about which pages stay on the site and which open in a new window. I didn't expect that to open in a new window, but you can see it did. I'm not sure that's a good user experience. Now, moving down a little farther, your blog is very nice, although the navigation is a little strange. When I went over there, I had trouble getting back. Let me show you just so. And again, I think this should be easier to link. The only link is this and this. I like to underline links. Like here you have a link underlined. These are not underlined. I would standardize that. Designers hate to underline things, but honestly, users love it. It doesn't look as clean and cool, but here you've done it. Take a tour, and here you've done it. But these are not underlined, and I think they should be. I would pick one or the other. Like these are underlined. I like that. It doesn't look as cool. The designers don't like it, but then I know where to click. It's helpful. So if I went over to the blog, what I'm talking about in terms of well, the design hierarchy would apply here again. Here you've got a bit of a better subscribe offer. I would use the same graphics and the same offer that you use over on the other site. But what I was saying about the navigation is home here does not go back to the home site. It's the blog home. And then you've got, and so I thought, well, maybe it would be this one, but here's a book you're talking about all of a sudden. And to get back to the main site is until over here. That's a bit confusing. So I would try to rationalize that, and ideally home should mean home, the same thing all the time. That's my point. I see, I just noticed this before, we have 2 newsletter subscription boxes here in a row. Why don't you make one good one with some graphics and stick to that? Okay, now back to the main page. I also wanted just to comment, you have a nice footer here, lots of good links for SEO. I think that's working. Let's Get Social, you could put those graphics from up top. Up here, down at the bottom. Yeah, you're not going to get many signups if they're down there, but unless social media is a key part of your strategy, this is probably good enough. If it is a key part of your strategy, which is fine, then it could take one of these boxes. I was confused, by the way, component database. I understand what this is once I read this, but I bet you could come up with a cooler name than that. Visit the component database. That's not inspiring copywriting. I think you could do a little better than that, just to make it sound interesting. Okay, and then, so I wanted to show you some competition. And I thought about this a lot, and I looked around at some other people that were doing online courses. I'm going to click and show you some of these, and it turns out they're doing almost exactly what I said. This is the Khan Academy. This is a massively popular online education system. Salman Khan, he's actually discussed in my latest book, Click Millionaires. He puts up tutoring. He started by putting up classes for his cousins, or nieces and nephews, I think it was, tutoring them in math, and this has become a major, major business. And they do online courses, and you can see they're doing just what I suggested. Small headers and big pictures of their most popular stuff across the top. Now this is free. It's a nonprofit, so it isn't entirely the same as you, but you'll notice there are only a few things on this page that pop out, and they are exactly what they want you to do. Sign up, it's free, a big green button. You also notice this site is wider. You can't see the whole thing, but up in the upper right-hand corner, the other green button is sign up. So there's only 2 things that pop out, and they're for the same thing, sign up. Strong call to action, both big and green, and then the primary offerings are right here, big boxes across the top. Here's another one, Learnable. This is an online learning academy that teaches online courses about sort of techie stuff like programming and things. I contributed a course to them a while back about how to do social media, for example. But these guys, same idea. Look, big boxes, their most popular stuff. In this case, they have categories, so it's not all courses, which are just this one, but you can browse them. Buttons that tell you what to do, and again, a big green button, get started. So strong call to action. Again, people's faces. That's the other thing that's missing on yours. I'd like to see more people, since I think aromatherapists are very caring people, and you probably have lots of alumni. I'd love to see more pictures of your people on the site. Okay, I mean, this beautiful coastline is great, but people are even more interesting, at least to me and to most people. We're programmed as humans to be interested in other humans, and more faces here, or some of the stock photos, which look like they're popping out down here, some really cool stuff. You've got activity photos and stuff. I would use a little more of those and use them to illustrate your courses, somewhat like you do on the interior cell pages for these individual classes. I also wanted to point out that the FAQ, I think this is very nicely done. It looks like there's a lot of information here. I think that's quite a reasonable thing to have here. It might even be worth a box on the homepage, probably not across the top. Taking a minute to load here. There, probably not here, but I think the frequently asked questions thing maybe could be one of these boxes because people do have a lot of questions, right? And you spend some time and money on creating that nice FAQ. It's worth highlighting a bit, I'd say. Now, the About Us is the other big one. This is nice, but you lead with this. I guess this is critical to your business, but I'd sure like to see some people. That's up to you, of course, but this is not real inspiring to me. It looks medicinal. And maybe that's okay. But down here is much more interesting. Look at this. Graduates, this is what I want to see. People, smiling people, and then yourself. How about flipping these two and this stock photo of the aromatherapy oil bottle up here? Because people is what is going to at least attract continued attention. I may not get them to sign up, but I think people is what people want to see. And again, I don't see any calls to action here. You can meet some instructors, meet the graduates, more about Ithaca, but how about, at the very minimum, you've got this whole blank space over here. How about our most popular classes, again, with some calls to action? Okay, so about out of time here, but you get the idea. I'd like to see you integrating the calls to action, being a little more overt on what you want people to do. When they arrive at your site, they've spent some time looking around, either through Google or they've somehow encountered your site through other means, your own marketing or word of mouth. They're interested in the aromatherapy process and aromatherapy training. The job of your homepage is to convert them and close the deal. So I think products with calls to action are what you need. All the pieces you have here are good. I didn't mention this. Quick links is fine, but that again, I think that could be sort of maybe one of these little navigation items. I would focus on big, pretty pictures, ideally including people that merchandise your products. Think like a store, at least a little bit. Here's our most popular products. They look sexy, a little bit of copy that says what they're about. Learn more, buy now, enroll, sign up, get more info, something. Call to action with buttons and graphics, and the same thing for your newsletter. All right? So I think if you reflect that sort of approach and you use the hierarchical approach I stated at the beginning, which is first goal, second goal, third goal, fourth goal for every page across the site, then that will really improve your conversions and improve your money-making capabilities here at the Aromahead Institute. So thanks for signing up, Andrea. It's been great working with you via the private coaching call. I hope to see you in the forum at clickmillionaires.com sometime soon. And of course, if you're watching this video later, head on over to the Aromahead Institute if you are interested in signing up for courses like Andrea's. And aromatherapy, I'm sure, could improve your life as it has improved Andrea's and many other people's as well. I'm Scott Fox. I'm doing this video for Andrea, courtesy of our service at expertwebsitereviews.com. And I run the free forum at clickmillionaires.com, which helps people build online lifestyle businesses like Andrea's. Hope to see you soon online. Thanks for listening.